Hi, my name's Lauramackie. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Thank you for coming along today. You've probably come along to see how I made so easy little Cadbury's cream eggs holder, or you could use a Cadbury's caramel egg. They're personally my favourite, but a cream egg is kind of I just know it feels a bit more Eastery than the Cadbury's caramel egg, but any of those kind of will fit. They come in boxes like this. Right, so let me tell you what I have used. Crumb cake cardstock is what I've used for the actual base and the little bottom. The little greenery and the bunny rabbit is from our product of the month for March 2025, talking just in case you're watching this in years to come. So yeah, that's our purchase, products up to £70 or over, or £70 and above, and you get to choose that for £5. So it's really good. As soon as I saw it, I loved it. The little bunny rabbit. I've actually got a card here as well that I've done ready for my coffee and cards. So a little sneak peek there for you. I've also used the banner saying, so I've used a non-Eastery, really, you're the sweetest. I couldn't find an Easter, a current, or even just a happy Easter sentiment in. You can see all them stamp sets. I did get bored of looking, but I couldn't find one. So this was just ideal. You're the sweetest, and it coordinates with the punch. So just really quickly stamp and punch. I've also used for the inner bit, which I'll show you in a minute, I've used a circle punch, 1 1/4 inch. You could use a die, you don't necessarily need to use a punch. If you haven't got 1 1/4, I would suggest going slightly larger, just so your egg sits maybe further in to the circle. So this, I can feel the base of my egg on the bottom. So my egg does sit like well and truly in there. It's not just hovering in that little piece there. He is sitting there in there firmly. The bumblebee trinket, they are just old product that we had, that I'd got in my stash. I was going to use the little butterflies, and then I thought, actually, I've got these little bumblebees just sitting here. I'm going to use them, and they look really cute. And the yellow ribbon, again, old from my stash. I think any pastel-y colour. I kept this neutral, thinking I could then use pastel-ys. So anything from the Subtles collection, really, I think would work. A little bit pool party, maybe. What else have we got? I have a little sign up there that tells me all of the family. So bubble bath, fresh freesia, kind of thinking those subtle, soft, springy-like colours. But use what you've got. Unless you love this, you might have a little bunny in your stash that you could use. I just wanted to use things that I'd got in my stash, and I think it's always fun to, you feel kind of like, yes, I've used some stuff. So yeah, let me show you how to make them. Grab your paper trimmer. I do recommend a trimmer that cuts and scores, just because that's kind of how I'm going to show you. If not, you'll have to do your bits of scoring afterwards. Your circle punch. Got a stapler here. I'm just using a tape, Seal Plus. Just again, really quick, easy, and they come together. I've smashed out. I've got 3 at the minute. I'm going to make 10 altogether. Whoops, wrong way around. They're just so cute. Cute and fun. Right, so I have tried to even use, when I'm making these, just scraps of card. So, like, I know this is going to be big enough. So the basey bit is going to be 8 by 8. So anything, we'll have a look on her. I'm going to have to use a big piece for the main body. But they work out, you can get about 4 out of a sheet of cardstock. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're about just over 5 centimeters wide. So yeah, you'll get, this is 21 centimeters. So yeah, you'll get the 4 out of the width. So the actual base piece, where the circle, where the egg sits in, you're going to cut a piece at 8 by 8. And like I say, if you've got Helps if you use the trimmery bit. 8 by 8. And like I say, if you've got bits in your stash like I have, use them up. Use all the little bits. So 8 by 8 is 3 and 1/8, is it? Let me show you where it is. 3 and that little dirty bit there. So 8 centimeters, 3 and 1/8, I think that is. I'm not very good inches and going down to the small bits. You're then going to score all 4 sides at 1.5 centimeters. So 1.5, and I'll show you where that is on the inches. It is 1.5 is 5/8 of an inch. It's like 1/2 inch and 1 dirt. If you love my again, I have a little thing on my wall for that too. I'll show you in a minute. So the actual, I'm going to cut it this way first. So you're going to cut it down to 25.5. So 25.5. So cutting a piece off, and then this way it's 5 1/4. So I'm basically going to go the little couple of dots between the 5 and the 5.5. You don't need to be exact, as long as it's roughly, which you can see there, mine is, it's roughly the same size, because you're going to lose them bits either side. You're then going to pop it in your trimmer back the other way, and you're going to score at 10, which is nigh on 4 inches, and then again at 15.5. Okay, that doesn't look very, no, what have I done there? Look, let me cut that again. Let's pop that in my trimmer. So I don't know whether I hadn't got it lined up at the top. It's gone really woohoo off. So 10, which is kind of 4 inches, and 15.5. There we go. So super simple. I tried to keep it, like I've said, really easy. So this is going to be like the body bit, and then this piece, grab my bone folder, and you're going to just burnish those 4 score lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as I'm using the circle punch, you can either wing it and pop it in and line it up. I just kind of made sure that I'd got equal borders at either side, which I'm just going to go for it. But if you wanted, you can make yourself a little template. Or if you're using a die is probably easiest way, and you won't get this little notch here, is pop it in and put it through your die cutting machine. But you're not going to see this in a minute, because I did a sneaky little trick that kind of hid that up. So I'm just snipping on all those 4 corners. And then again, for quickness, I use my Seal Plus, just to put a little bit on each of those corners. You could, if you prefer, use tape or liquid glue. But on all those 4 corners, I then just turn them in. 1, 2. You can see how quickly these come together, can't you? So, and then that one like that. If I just show you how my egg sits well into, hopefully you'll be able to see, but you can see there the egg sits well in, and it's nigh on flush with the base. And that's what you want. You want a big enough circle. So if you haven't got a 1 1/4 inch circle punch, take it a little bit bigger, because it doesn't matter if it sits in there a little bit further down. It just means it's not going to rock and fall about and stuff, which is what you want. Right, let me just get a bit of scrap paper. I normally have a grid sheet out, in all fairness, but for some reason I hadn't. I'll just grab this, and we're going to stamp our foliage with Old Olive, and on the back piece I stamped it all the way along. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Just gonna make sure I've got a little bit on the edges there. And then turning it around. And then when I did the front, I just did, so it sort of sits either side. So the bunny will kind of sit in the middle. And I also added just a little bit at the top, just because I felt my top looked a bit plain. So I'll show you what I've just done there. Just a little bit on that, on the top there. Right. So then on this back piece, I'm going to put a pinch, sound like I'm baking now, just a little smidge of tape runner. And that piece, if you're using the circle punch like I have, making sure that that goes at the back, so then that is covered. Okay. Then I popped, just so I felt he was secure, even though I think he is really secure in there, I just pop a little glue dot on his bottom of my egg. So then when I put it in there, just give him and push him down and he sticks to the bottom there. All right, so he's held there now. Gonna give that a little pinch at the top, line that up neatly. I did have a corner rounder here and I've rounded one, but I don't know if I like it with the rounded or if I actually like it square. Let me hold. I also had a punch and I did a fancy top and I didn't overly like that, so that's when I then left it square. So I'm going to pinch that back together. Now you could, if you wanted, just put a little bit of Seal Plus in there, but it's what I use because I've got it, is I'm going to use, just lining that up neatly, and I'm just going to give it a little punch. Not a little punch, I'm fibbing to you, a staple, so he's secure in there. Then finding another offcut. Get my offcut of basic white and my basic black. Oh wow, if you see my table, I always, every video I make, I always start off so clean and tidy. I was getting such a mess. So basic black for the outline. And then my bunny, if I can find it, is stamped in crumb cake, but second generation. So with second generation, I mean stamp off and then stamp on. So he's got stuck on that little bit. I put a tiny little bit of tape on my bit of paper there, and it's got stuck to it. So you can see there, cute little bunny. And I'm going to just fussy cut him. There is no dies for this stamp set. So I'm just going to give him a little fussy cut. I don't know if you just noticed my table has got, the sun's just come out. It's such a windy, blustery day here today. Where my other half is working, which is literally 5 minutes down the road. They've had snow, which is crazy. But yeah, it's now a very nice and bright March day. Right, so let me grab a dimensional, and I only put a little dimension just on the base of his belly there, so he kind of sits proud. Then see that he sits without him being, so you don't want him stuck right down. Then get another piece of scrap. Great for using your scraps. And we're going to use the You're the Sweetest, because that's what I've got. But don't forget that you can use anything you've got in your stash, or maybe you want to find a Happy Easter greeting. These are really cool because you could actually tuck some money in there as well for make it a little bit more special if you wanted. More special, I'm not sure that that's very good English, but you know what I mean. I'm then going to just punch that out with the punch. That's going to have a little dimensional on the back there. Peel the back off ready. And then I'm going to use this ribbon. So this, gosh, this is a really old ribbon. but it's nice. It feels really good to use it up. And then that is gonna sit on the side there. And again, another little nip of a staple. Hold that in place. And then I sneakily added, oh, could you see that there? So I added the, I don't know if you can see that. Was I slightly out of shot? I get carried away. And then I'm just going to sneakily put that so it covers my staples. And then I've got some of my bumblebee trinket things here. They're a bit big really in comparison with the bee and the bunny, but I'm going to just pop that there. They're just on glue dots ready just to grab. There. I'm going to link some of the items in the description below. I will also add in my contact details. Let me just pause and turn the camera. Ooh. There we go. Yeah, so I'm going to link some bits in the comments below that I've used. My contact details will also be in the description box below. So if you've got any questions or anything, something that I've not been quite clear about, or maybe like I did before, I missed it out of the shot, you can then pop me a message. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get notified of when I upload a new video. Thank you if you lasted this long. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.